I live alone, so when I found a half-eaten sandwich on my counter, my blood froze. Then I looked up. The attic hatch was open, just a crack. Here are 3 true stories of phrogging when strangers live inside your walls. This first story is from a guy named David, Ohio, early 30s. Lives alone in a rental house. This happened 6 months ago. I work long hours, IT consultant. Sometimes I'm gone 12, 14 hours a day. When I come home, I just want to eat and crash. I'm not the tidiest person. Dishes pile up, laundry sits in the basket for days. You know how it is. Around March, I started noticing my groceries were disappearing faster than usual. I'd buy a gallon of milk on Monday. By Wednesday, it was half gone. I figured I was just drinking more, stress eating, whatever. Then I noticed other things. My Netflix showed episodes of shows I'd never watched. Continue watching. Breaking Bad, Season 3, Episode 7. I've never seen Breaking Bad. I thought maybe my account got hacked. Changed the password. But it kept happening. And then the smells started. I'd come home and the house would smell different. Not bad, just lived in, like someone had been cooking or showering. But I lived alone. One Thursday evening, I came home around 7 p.m. I walked into my bathroom to wash my hands. The mirror was fogged up, completely steamed over, like someone had just taken a hot shower. I touched the shower floor. Wet. Warm. Someone had been in my house, in my bathroom, naked, using my shower minutes ago. Maybe they were still here. I grabbed a kitchen knife, checked every room, every closet, under the bed. Nothing. Nobody. Front door was still locked from the inside, windows latched. I was losing my mind. I bought a GoPro, one of those small ones, set it up on my bookshelf pointing at the living room, hidden behind some books. If someone was breaking in, I'd have proof. I left for work the next day, 14-hour shift. When I got home that night, I checked the camera, fast-forwarded through the footage. Nothing for hours, just my empty living room. Then, at 2:47 p.m., something moved. The cabinet under my kitchen sink opened slowly, and a woman crawled out. She was tiny, maybe 5 feet tall, emaciated, dirty blonde hair matted to her head, wearing my old t-shirt, one I'd thrown in the donation pile months ago. She crawled out on her hands and knees like an animal, then stood up, stretched, like she'd been cramped for hours. She walked to the fridge, opened it, took out the milk, drank straight from the jug. Then she made herself a sandwich, my bread, my cheese, my mayo. She ate it standing at the counter. When she was done, she washed the dish, put it back in the cabinet, like she lived there. Then she walked into my bedroom. I watched on the laptop screen, hands shaking. She picked up my pillow, the one I sleep on every night. She held it to my face and inhaled deeply, over and over, burying her nose in the fabric. She put the pillow down, lay on my bed, stared at the ceiling for maybe 20 minutes, then got up, walked back to the kitchen, crawled back into the cabinet, and closed the door behind her, like nothing happened. I called 911, didn't go inside, waited in my car until the police arrived. 4 officers. They searched the house, found her in the cabinet. She'd built a nest back there, behind the pipes, blankets, food wrappers, bottles to piss in. She'd been living there for at least 2 months. They arrested her, trespassing, breaking and entering. But here's what fucked me up. When they searched her stuff, they found Polaroids, dozens of them, pictures of me sleeping in my bed, close-ups of my face, my neck, my chest rising and falling as I breathed. She'd been watching me sleep for months. David moved out that week. He couldn't sleep in that house anymore, couldn't shower there, couldn't touch anything.
He said every surface felt contaminated. He still has nightmares about her face pressed into his pillow, breathing him in. All right, story number 2.
This one's from a college student named Sarah, Boston, junior year. Lives in an old apartment building near campus. Happened last semester. I live in a studio apartment, 4th floor. It's cheap, old building, drafty. The heat barely works, but it's mine and I can afford it on my student loans. Around October, I started hearing noises at night. Not scary noises, just sounds, like the building settling, pipes creaking. Old buildings make noise. I ignored it. But then I started hearing whistling, faint, coming from the ceiling vent above my bed. At first I thought it was wind, air moving through the ducts, but it had a melody, a tune. It sounded human. One night I was studying at my desk, humming to myself, some song I'd heard on the radio. Heat Waves by Glass Animals, you know it. I was humming the chorus. From the vent, I heard whistling, the same song, the same part I'd just been humming. I stopped humming. The whistling stopped. I hummed again, different song, Bohemian Rhapsody. 3 notes. The whistling echoed it back. 3 notes. Same tune, same rhythm.
Someone was in my vent, listening to me, copying me. I grabbed my phone flashlight, stood on my bed, shined the light through the vent slats. The beam cut through the darkness, and then I saw it. An eye, a human eye, pressed against the slats, looking down at me. The eye blinked. It wasn't scanning the room. It was locked on me, on my face, on my neck. I stumbled backward, fell off the bed. The flashlight clattered to the floor, and then I heard it. Metal scraping, screws turning from inside the vent. He was unscrewing the grate from the inside. The corners started to pull away from the ceiling, millimeter by millimeter. I ran, grabbed my keys, didn't put on shoes, just ran out of my apartment in my socks and t-shirt, ran down 4 flights of stairs to the lobby, called 911 from the front steps. Police arrived, went into my apartment. They had to call the fire department, needed ladders and tools to access the HVAC system from the roof. They found him 2 hours later, a man, mid-40s. He'd been living in the junction box where the ducts connect, up in the ceiling between apartments. He'd built a little nest up there, sleeping bag, food, bottles, and binoculars. He could see down through the vents into multiple apartments. He'd been watching 5 different tenants, all women, all students, all living alone, taking notes on our schedules, our routines, our songs. Sarah moved out the next day, broke her lease, lost her security deposit, didn't care. She said she can't sleep in rooms with ceiling vents anymore, can't hum to herself, can't be alone without wondering if someone's listening. Last story. This one's the worst.
This story is from a woman who wants to remain anonymous. I'll call her Jennifer. Midwest, late 20s, inherited her grandmother's house last year. My grandmother passed away in January. She left me her house. I'd visited as a kid but hadn't been there in years. It's in a small town, middle of nowhere, 3 bedrooms, big basement, needed work but it was paid off, free house. I moved in. The first few weeks were normal. I was cleaning, unpacking, painting, getting settled. But I started noticing small things, objects moving. I'd leave my keys on the kitchen counter, find them on the dining room table. I'd set down my coffee mug, come back and it's in the sink, washed. I blamed it on stress, moving, grief. I was forgetting where I put things, but then weirder stuff started happening. I'd wake up and my blanket would be tucked in around me, tight, like someone had been in my room while I slept, adjusting my covers, taking care of me. One morning I found breakfast on the table. Toast, butter, orange juice. I live alone. I didn't make breakfast. I don't even eat breakfast. I called my ex-boyfriend, told him what was happening. He said I should check if someone had a key to the house, maybe a neighbor, maybe someone my grandmother trusted. He said call a locksmith, change all the locks. I hired a locksmith, local guy. He came out the next day, started with the front door, then the back door. Then I asked him to check the basement. There's a door down there that leads to the furnace room. It's always been locked. My grandmother told me it was just storage. Don't worry about it. The locksmith went down to check it. I heard him walking around, opening doors, testing locks. Then I heard him yell. Not words, just a yell. Then footsteps, running, fast. He came up the basement stairs so fast he almost tripped. His face was white, pale as paper. He looked at me. You need to call the police right now. His hands were shaking. What's wrong? I asked. He said, that furnace room door, it's not locked to keep people out. There's a deadbolt on it, a heavy industrial one, but it's on the inside. Someone installed a lock to keep themselves in. Someone's been living down there. The police came. 6 officers. They went down to the furnace room, announced themselves. Police, come out with your hands up. The lock scraped, slid open. The door opened from the inside, and my ex-boyfriend walked out. We'd broken up 8 months ago. It ended badly. He got obsessive, started showing up at my apartment, my work, my parents' house. I got a restraining order. He was supposed to stay 500 feet away from me, but he'd been here the whole time, waiting. Inside the furnace room, they found everything. A cot, blankets, food stockpiled, and a calendar with dates circled. January 15th, the day my grandmother died. He'd been waiting for her to die so he could move in, so he could be close to me, so he could take care of me. The blanket tucking, the breakfast, the moved keys. It was all him. He'd been coming out at night while I slept, watching me, touching my things, making himself useful, playing house. Jennifer sold the house, couldn't live there, couldn't sleep knowing he'd been feet away from her bedroom, breathing the same air, listening to her through the floorboards. The trial's next month. He faces 10 years. But Jennifer told me the worst part wasn't finding him. It was realizing he'd been there for weeks. That every time she felt safe, every time she felt taken care of, it was him. That the comfort she felt was a lie, that she was never alone. 3 true stories. 3 people who thought they lived alone. Check your vents, check your cabinets, check your basement doors. If something feels off in your house, trust your gut, because sometimes the creaks you hear at night aren't the house settling. Sometimes it's someone else, breathing, waiting, watching. If you're new here, welcome to Spookfeed. Hit that subscribe button. Stay safe out there. I'll see you in the next one.